Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. That's right. It is time for our Tobago segment. This morning we'll be chatting with the Reverend Nolan Warner, General Administrator at Pawi. Of course, the Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies will be hosting a 3-night conference titled Redeeming the Time, Fulfilling the Mandate. It takes place on May 29th through to May 30th and then to June 1st. Joining us by phone, as I mentioned earlier, Reverend Nolan Warner. Good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for taking our call this morning.
Thanks so much for calling. Really appreciate the opportunity.
You're most welcome. So we're very, very interested to find out all about this. You chose a theme, Redeeming the Time, Fulfilling the Mandate. What is this all about?
Well, at this time, we feel that the world is in such chaos and in such flux morally, that we feel we need to call the church and Christians back to a place of biblical purity and in an opportunity to face these times in particular that we're experiencing, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but throughout the Caribbean and the world at large. So we feel that it is our time to fulfill the mandate of Christ, which is to evangelize and call people to a life that pleases God.
Would you say that the church has been straying away from that initial mandate to some extent?
We think somewhat. But it's our responsibility to continue to call the church to biblical purity. There will always be a challenge with temptation and man's inability to follow perfectly the will of God, and it is up to the messengers of God to continue to call them back to that life of purity, both spiritual and moral.
So you said that you spoke about a situation of chaos. What are some of the underlying issues that we're currently facing that you think this initiative would help to address?
We think crime is one of them, because if you're serving God in spirit and in truth, as the Bible speaks to, clearly you wouldn't have the time to commit any crime, whether left or right. And we think those are some of the things that we're calling people to.
All right, so let's look at crime. On our program, we've had a lot of conversations about this. A lot of people pointing fingers at parenting, poor parenting. Do you think this is a huge factor?
We think society at large is in flux and a bit of crisis. And we're not just speaking to parents, we're also speaking to children. In fact, we're speaking to leaders, we're speaking to followers. Every segment of society we're speaking to and calling them to that. I don't want to just point out one group, because once you point at one group, you kind of, in the same way, leave out several groups that have impact on society. So we're not just speaking to one group, we're speaking to all groups. Whether you're a businessman or whether you're an employee, whether you're a parent or a child, we think that all groups need to be called to that. So if we miss mommy and daddy, at least we won't miss society at large. And if we don't catch you at home, at least we'll catch you where you work. So yes, we're calling all segments of society and all roles that we play within society to that kind of spiritual and moral purity.
Reverend, is it this first time that you're having a conference like this?
Oh, no, we do this every 2 years. It's our biennial conference. We go throughout the Caribbean. We've been to Antigua, Grenada, Barbados. This is Tobago's opportunity to host, and we're expecting such a great time.
What sort of topics you all had in the past, or themes?
We've looked at, again, in all of the nations, this is the basic theme, coming back to that biblical purity. We have highlighted various segments, like the Pentecostal distinctive, things like that. This time we feel, though, that as we look at our entire region, we think now is the time that we need to call people to that kind of thing. And we must, as leaders, be held somewhat responsible for proclaiming the message. And that's what we're really seeking to do at this time.
Good. So let's look at the actual structure and breakdown of the conference for each day. 29th May, what can we expect?
On the 29th, we have our opening rally, and we call the major church service a rally at this stage, where all of our delegates from throughout the Caribbean, Brazil, United Kingdom are coming in. We're also inviting all of the Tobago people to come and join with us as we seek to worship God. Our General Bishop will be speaking tonight and opening the rally in very fine fashion. All the pomp and pageantry accorded a service of this nature will be extended. And we've heard already, the Tobago District has already informed us that we're in the capital of paradise, so we should expect everything to run as smoothly and all the pomp and pageantry attended to us.
And on the 30th of May, what's on the agenda?
From the 30th on to the 1st, what we're going to be having during the daytime is going to be our conference business. We call it our accountability session, and that runs from 9 till roughly around 3 o'clock. But then every night we're having one of those rallies again, where we have Joel Edwards from the United Kingdom. He's coming in to be our conference speaker both morning and in the evening, and we're expecting such a wonderful, powerful time of impartation, of calling men back to that kind of spiritual and moral purity as we face the kind of crises that we see in our own communities.
You said calling men. Is this just for males? Is this just for men?
No, come on. I say men, I mean mankind, male and female.
Wonderful.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Mankind.
That's not a problem at all.
We're expecting all age groups to show up at our rally. In fact, we're inviting all of Tobago to come down to Ravenel's Hotel because they have one of the larger conference rooms in Tobago, and we're hosting our conference business sessions there as well as our rallies at the same location. So once you show up during the day, you could stay until the night.
Can you recall some of the guest speakers?
Well, during the evening, we're going to be having the Reverend Dr. Pat Philip Glasgow, our General Bishop, on Tuesday night, which is tomorrow. On Wednesday night, we're going to be having Joel Edwards. He's the Bishop Joel Edwards from the United Kingdom. On Thursday night, we're having some of our executive persons say farewell to their leadership positions. So we're having a gala dinner where we're inviting people to be a part of it. And then on Friday night, we have our closing rally where our brand new General Bishop will be addressing the congregation at that time.
Now, you said that this is an event that takes place pretty often. Would you say that, what sort of success has this event achieved in the past?
Throughout the Caribbean, this is one of the flagship events for evangelicals. We normally invite and have leaders, both national leaders as well as denominational leaders, show up at our conferences. Very, very successful. Apart from that, we have delegates from every corner of the Caribbean coming in, from sister fellowships coming in to share time with us. So this year we're expecting the Open Bible Standard Church's General Overseer to be here with us. The Church of God Overseer from Guyana, he is expected to be here as well. So yes, we do have quite a few persons coming in, and it's very, very successful. It adds to the community when we go there. It adds to the nation. We take time and we take the opportunities given to us to pray for the nation, to pray over its leaders, and once they show up at our meetings, we pray for them specifically, ensuring that the will of God be done over the nation and through the leaders of the nation.
What is the registration process like?
For our delegates, the registration process would have ended a couple months ago. But for those who are coming to the rally, no registration necessary. It's free to the public. You could just show up. A seat will be definitely made available for you.
And just to remind us, where exactly is this conference taking place?
It's going to be held at Ravenel's Hotel and Resort. It's just a short distance away from the airport. So even if you're coming in from Trinidad, it's just about 3 minutes drive from the airport to the hotel.
Right. And what sort of information would we need? Any additional information? You just show up, or is there a number?
You just show up and a seat will be made available to you and for you. Yeah, this is what we want to do to the communities around where Ravenel, but for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, having all of these religious leaders coming in, praying, believing God, sharing ministry among each other. This is what we feel will benefit a nation.
Wonderful. Is there a number? I'm sorry?
Sorry, say that again?
Is there a number to call for further information?
Yes, there is. You can call my number, 689-0819. And any bit of information that you need will be given to you from me.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Closing comments, what would you like to say to those listening and looking on?
Sure. We'd like to make a general invitation to everyone, but specific to you who are watching right now, allowing the opportunity to come in, share ministry with us, have God move upon your life, to see what a nation who obeys God and understands the will of God can accomplish in real time for these end times.
Well said. Thank you so much, Reverend Nolan Warner. It's been a pleasure chatting with you this morning.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate the opportunity.
You're most welcome. Of course, we've been chatting with Reverend Nolan Warner, General Administrator, talking about Pawi's 37th Biennial Conference. It takes place, I understand, pretty often throughout the Caribbean. It's taking place in Tobago. That conference actually is taking place from the 29th of May through to the 1st of June. That number to call, 689-0819.